Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call the Legislative Affairs Subcommittee to order. Please join me in a salute to the flag. Thank you.
Roll call of the members. Councilor Guarino Sawaya.
Here.
Here. Councilor Jaramillo. Here. Councilor Kelly.
Here.
Here. Councilor Silvestri.
Here.
Here. And Chairman Argenzio.
Here.
Here. Quorum is present. We have 3 items on tonight's agenda. The first being an ordinance establishing a program to divert waste, landfills, and incinerators to offset waste disposal costs.
Councilor Jaramillo.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for your leeway. We've talked at length about this program. I appreciate the feedback and welcome the feedback of the mayor's office on this particular ordinance. If they have any particular amendments that they'd like to present, I'd welcome them. In the meantime, I believe we have some amendments relative to starting or doing compost adjacent work in our high schools, and I will yield to, are you ready for it? Okay, I will not yield yet, but, well, I will yield back to you, I guess, and I hope that the committee votes on this favorably.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilors wishing to speak? Councilor Silvestri.
Yeah, just in the last few weeks, I've actually have seen a large, it's not with the composting per se, but a large increase in rodents. And, you know, we have to do something. I don't know if maybe pulling in the companies that are doing the baiting and whatnot, because it is becoming an issue, and we need to figure out some solution for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilors wishing to speak? Councilor Guarino Sawaya.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I said at the last meeting, what I'm looking to do is starting this program at the high school, to start a pilot program and then see what we can do to get some type of funding so we know exactly what we're getting into before we bring it out and allow this in our city. And I do not want to be the person to cost the city residents any money. So I think the best way to do this would be a trial and error program within the high school. Salem High School does that. So maybe we can learn something from them and before we attempt to do it ourselves. I mean, I went to Italy this year and I saw the way they run their composting program. To be honest with you, some of the stuff I agreed with, some of the stuff I didn't. They took trash out daily, and it was a different form of trash, and they had all these different buckets, and to be honest with you, it was such a pain in the rear. I wasn't happy with it, but there's got to be a different way to approach it, you know, being here in the United States. But what they did is they used the composting stuff and they made plastic bags, which are absolutely incredible to use instead of us using the paper bags. I'd like to look further into that as well, using compostable material. And I brought them home with me just to show people because the quality of the plastic bag, and it's compostable and it's biodegradable, it's unbelievable. Thank you.
Are you offering a substitute motion, or? Oh.
I did it before as well, to do a trial and error at the high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she's gonna, I believe, present an amendment to
Okay.
add to a section. I can
Amendment, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is that right?
My amendment would be that any company hereby contracted by these provisions run a program at Revere High School for the education of the students.
What section is that going in?
The clerk seems to deem fit.
Is it C?
Sure.
There is If you're looking, there's sections 8.10.010 through .060. Where is the amendment being inserted?
Bear with me, sorry.
Well, don't we have to look at it?
Getting you that now. Sorry. Yeah. I can send it to you.
Yes.
I'll send it all to you. Is that okay? Okay. Alrighty.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilor Silvestri.
just for clarification, so is this going to be amendment to have the composting done through the high school students, or for them to be part of it and learn with the companies that are doing it?
In addition to have the company do educational program trial at the high school. So the section would be section 8.10.020 under program design, insert subsection E. And I'll get you that language now. I'll send you the language now.
So just to be clear, this is in addition to your
Correct.
motion? Okay, thank you. Councilor Zambudo.
Anthony Zambudo, 87 High Street, not counselor at this point here for this issue. I just want a little clarity. Is this going to be part of an RFP that the company has to do a program at the high school, or how is this, who's going to pay for this?
Yeah, so I think the idea here is that the program design allows for an RFP, or actually asks us, the council is asking the mayor to put an RFP for
Okay.
transparency's sake.
Okay.
And this would just be in addition to that.
Okay, so
that
so
does-
this
a program
amendment
design.
would be part of the RFP, in other
Correct.
words? Okay.
Thank
That's
you,
all.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.
Hello, Mr. Chair. Ed Terrell, 70 Sewell Street, Revere, Mass. I would just like to see the fire chief involved in this process, because composting can actually combust and cause fires, and we don't really need the old high school building to burn. There's been several fires. There's one in Pasadena, California. I think Everett just had one. So we might need a little bit of guidance with this, but I'm totally in favor of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Terrell. Any other comments from the councilors?
Thomas Grosky, 281 Broadway. Just wanted to talk about the mayor's office and community development and planning's our approach to a composting pilot that we've been working on. We have each year in our contract with WIN $25,000 to go to waste diversion, and this year we're proposing to use that $25 to implement a pilot for a preferred composting partner in the city. And we actually have an RFP right now that's sitting in our CFO's office waiting approval to get out the door. And the RFP will seek to create a 3-year contract with a preferred composting partner. In the first year, we would use that $25,000 to purchase up to 1,000 barrels for residents to participate in the program. And they would still contract with the preferred partner themselves. The city wouldn't be in contract with the composter to provide services, which is an important distinction I'll draw on later. But that would be our year 1 goal. And as we are working to secure a preferred partner and come under contract, deliver those 1,000 trash barrels, composting barrels, we would then also be applying for a variety of different state and federal grants to help expand the programs in year 2 and year 3. So we've already applied for an EPA grant for $130,000 through their composting and food waste reduction program. And we have achieved at least preliminary eligibility for this. There's so many acronyms, that's why I have my phone up here. The Sustainable Materials Recovery Program, SMRP, through Mass DEP. They actually have 3 different state grants that go towards composting. So first you have to become eligible, and then you can apply for the grants. So we've now become eligible. We're going to apply for grants through that program, and there's one other program through EPA. All of these are to support composting in municipalities. So our first year goal is just to find a preferred partner, purchase those barrels. Our second year goal would be then to look at some of the more aggressive things that are in this ordinance, like subsidizing income eligible folks or incentives and marketing to make sure that people are actually taking advantage of the tool. And potentially with one of these state grants, we would also look at the partnership with the schools, as Councilor Guarino-Sawaya had mentioned. But we need funding to expand the partnership further. So we're starting at a very base level, and then as federal or state funding permits, we would expand the program accordingly. And throughout, we aim to collect data on the demographics of who's enrolled in the program, to collect data on the waste tonnage diverted and what the savings would be on the municipality, all the things that are outlined in the councilor's RFP proposal through the ordinance. And so overall, I think the mayor's office and my department, we certainly support the goals of creating a composting program in the city. I think actually to your point about rodents, I know I've talked about it before, but I think it actually helps to promote rodent diversion with secured composting containers. I can speak and vouch for that personally. We have an RFP that's ready to go that's just awaiting final approval, looking at data collection, looking at a tiered approach where we get more aggressive as we get more funding. All of that I think we're all on the same page with some areas that I worry a little bit about the RFP tying our hands on or the ordinance itself. Number one, I can't speak on the amount itself, the $125,000. And that might be a question for our CFO, whether, that budget item is secured into the future as putting this in the ordinance would kind of tie our hands in that regard. Sometimes we might get a state or a federal grant, sometimes we won't, and then we'll have to supplement that with local dollars. And then the big question here is really, as it's written in the ordinance, the city would be contracting with a composter to provide composting services for the residents. That creates a little bit more complexity in the contracting and actually might increase, as you all know, whenever a municipality gets engaged in procurement, things get more expensive, as opposed to what we're doing now is we're providing incentives and we have a preferred partner that we would aim to work with, as opposed to, getting involved in things like prevailing wage and other more complicated things that can drive up the cost of this service. So that's one potential issue. And then just the broader question of how we're going to pay for it if we're going to expand the service to the entire city, and is the amount allocated here sufficient for that? I think if we were to start with this pilot approach where we come to an agreement with a 3-year contract, I'm not necessarily sure we need an ordinance, but we are all on the same page, I think, with the shared goals here and data collection. And then perhaps in year 3 at the conclusion of our partnership, we could then think of a more formal way to, whether it's through something like Medford or Boston is doing, where they actually are contracting with the composting companies for a fee per service. I think we'd be better equipped at the end of year 3 to better kind of gauge what approach we want to take. Because clearly I think there's a lot of unanswered questions right now about some of the finer points of this proposal.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Jaramillo.
This is an opt-in program, and it allows the mayor to contract as long as they're putting an RFP that has some specifications here. So when you say that, so I understand the money component, and I somewhat agree with that, and I'm willing to make an amendment to lower that $125,000 figure to $25,000 based on your assertion just now and my understanding from my conversations with the mayor over the past 12 months around this particular issue, that we are using mitigation money to pay for this pilot. Madam Clerk, in that section 010 in the preamble, if we can amend 125 to 25,000. Now, I would like to know what the administration is doing to expand eligibility or access, maybe not eligibility, to folks who are veterans, low income, fixed income, and folks who are seniors. Although it doesn't, so I'd like to know what that looks like in your program design now. And then if your RFP, you said there's an RFP, is this a public RFP?
It will be soon, and I mean, it certainly could be if the council would like to look at it in advance of, I guess, a final vote, as you all would take in a subsequent meeting. But yeah, I mean, I can certainly share it with the chair of the committee. And
So your RFP is not hindered by these provisions, these just adds additional provisions like low-income eligibility, senior eligibility, or access, I should say, all that stuff. So, just for the hearing pleasure of my colleagues, that this does not tie the mayor's hand in any way to those things. It just says, if you already have an RFP, which it sounds like there's an RFP that we have not seen, that we include these things. I'm sure now that I've pointed them out, these things are magically going to appear on there. But I think the importance here is we're starting a pilot program that's an opt-in program that the council, many of whom have expressed their interest in being leaders on this issue, and that we would like to see this to be part of our ordinances for a variety of reasons, because this ensures transparency and it ensures accessibility to a great amount of folks. So with that, I motion for that amendment to be taken up here, and hope that my colleagues will join me in voting yes for this, to vote this favorably out of committee.
Any other further comments before we vote on the amendment? Hearing none?
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Councilor Silvestri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to Tom. Tom, you stated that there's an RFP, so the city's moving towards doing this already. You're not sure, or not that you're not sure, but I think you said earlier that you don't know if we're ready to put it into a legislation or because we could help it grow and help it design. We're not there yet. Is that what I'm hearing, or?
well, I think the $25,000 amendment certainly helps, because we got to make sure if we're putting something into an ordinance, we actually have the money for it, and at least for the duration of the contract with WIN, we have the money. Beyond that, I can't speak for our finances, but that makes me feel a little bit better. I think we could probably look at some of the finer points of the RFP in light of what I mentioned, the distinction again between a preferred partner that we're working with and somebody we are contracting with to perform the service is a really important one from a procurement standpoint, that I think we just want to get the language right. And I'm not going to be able to do that tonight, but I'm sure I could look at the language in advance of it going to the full council, or if it's staying in committee. But I think generally we agree to a framework here. I just worry about the RFP and the language in the ordinance tying our hands too much to do what I think in the first phase is going to be a pilot. We're going to be testing things out, seeing what works. And you'll see in the application we submitted to the EPA, Councilor Jaramillo, our goals are shared in terms of income eligible subsidies and so forth. But in year one, we want to get subscriptions up in the program, because the more people we get enrolled in the program, the cheaper the program becomes. So, if you have under 300, I think it's $21 a month for one of the providers. When you get to 300, it then goes down to $13.99. When you get to 600, it goes to $11.99 a month. And so our goal is in the first year to bring down that monthly price So it's easier for us to then subsidize in year 2 and year 3 and beyond. So our year 1 goal is really in service of the further goals, but we got to get subscriptions up to make the economies of scale work.
The motion.
Counselor Jaramillo?
No, just the motion
Okay.
to amend to, from 100. Oh, sorry, yeah, so can we bundle and take them on together? Motion to bundle? I don't know if that's a thing, but.
Okay. The amendments the committee offered were as follows. New subsection E of proposed section 8.10.020. New section E reads as follows, that any company hereby contracted by these provisions run a program at Revere High School for the education of the students. And the second amendment was amending the preamble, section 8.10.010, striking 125,000 and inserting in place thereof 25,000. On those
Roll
amendments.
call on the amendment.
Counselor Guarino Sawaya?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Jaramillo?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Silvestri?
Yes.
Yes. And Chairman Argenzio?
Yes.
Yes, the amendments have been approved. Now,
Roll call on the ordinance as amended for a favorable recommendation.
on the ordinance as amended, to refer this ordinance with a favorable recommendation to the full city council this evening, Counselor Guarino Sawaya?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Jaramillo?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Silvestri?
Yes.
Yes. And Chairman Argenzio?
Yes.
Yes, the ordinance will be forwarded to the full city council this evening with a favorable recommendation for adoption. Next item is an ordinance amending metered rates of the revised ordinances of the city of Revere.
Councilors, this is a motion that I put forward concerning 4, 5, and 6 family owner-occupied units. Right now, those buildings are paying a commercial rate on water and a residential rate on taxes. This motion is to have owner-occupied 4, 5, and 6 families pay residential water. Any other councilors have any comments? Anyone can speak?
I stand opposed to this.
Mr. Chairman, Ira Novoselsky, 53 DeHone Street. I'm recusing myself as a city councilor on this issue, but I would hope that this passes. And I stated my case at the public hearing, and I just hope that everybody understands where we want to go in this. And thank you for the explanation. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone in the audience wanting to speak?
Good evening, Councilors. John Lopes, 62 Crest Ave, Revere, Mass. I'm in support of this rollback. Mainly, I own a 4-unit building that's occupied by all family members and my son that's a co-owner. I mean, when I took out my loan, when I first bought my house 30 years ago, I didn't take out a commercial loan. It was a conventional loan. So when this new water bill came and hit us pretty hard. You know, and as far as, if you guys know, if you own a 3-family and you're paying residential water, you know, all of a sudden you get changed to commercial and you got family members living there, you know, you really can't raise their rents. I mean, my rents are way below market, you know, and it's a hardship on everybody. And I speak for a lot of people within the city, you know, so I would support this rollback if you could, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing? Yes, ma'am.
Bonnie Curran, Barrett Street. I'd like to see an incentive put forward, like to help this along and help pay for it with the affordable housing piece that could come into that, with maybe giving a tax deduction to multifamily that go below the payment standards set by Revere Housing Authority, dollar for dollar, to open up more affordable housing, really affordable housing. And I would ask that you looked at that piece before you went ahead and did that piece. 4 families a lot. Some people are charging more rent. I know the gentleman just said he isn't. But anybody below the payment standard, sure. But there are people out there charging $3,000 a month for a 2-bedroom. It's not right. Thank you.
Any further comments? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please, for looking on it favorably.
Shall the Legislative Affairs Subcommittee offer a favorable recommendation for engrossment and ordainment on ordinance establishing or amending the metered rates of the city of Revere? Councilor Guarino Sawaya?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Jaramillo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Kelly?
No.
No. Councilor Silvestri?
Yes.
Yes. And Chairman Argenzio?
Yes,
Yes, the ordinance will be forwarded to the full city council with a favorable recommendation.
thank you.
And lastly, there was a motion presented by Councilor Kelly, an act relative to notice requirements for public hearings and parties of interest defined for certain special permits.
Councilor Kelly,
Mr. Chairperson, I have withdrawn this motion.
thank you. Do we need to do anything official?
No, when you give your report, Chairman, at the regular city council meeting, you just indicate that the motion has been withdrawn by.
Thank you very much, and no further business. Councilor, the meeting stands adjourned.
I already did it. Good evening and welcome to the November 25th Appointments Subcommittee meeting. Could we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Roll call of the members. Counselor Argenzio.
Here.
Here. Counselor Janino.
Here.
Here. Counselor Kelly.
Here.
Here. Counselor Zambudo.
Here,
Here. And Chairwoman McKenna.
Here.
Here, quorum is present. There's one appointment up for tonight, and that's the appointment of Sarah Hawes to the Public Art Commission.
Is Sarah, will you come up, please? Hi, Sarah. Just turn on the mic. Could you just give your name and address to the clerk?
My name is Sarah Hawes. My address is 50 Ocean Ave, Revere, Mass. 02151.
And Sarah, you're going to be appointed to the Public Arts Commission, and what can you bring to the table? Can you tell me about your experience?
Yes, I have a Bachelor of Science in Art Education from the University of Vermont, and I was a high school art teacher up in Essex Junction. I am really excited to get involved in the community I live in. I've actually never lived in another town as an adult. I chose Revere to be my, my home address, and I'm very interested in activating public spaces and stimulating urban design. I think what they're doing in East Boston and Lynn are wonderful, and I'd like to see that here in Revere. I work at a nonprofit in Boston, the Boston Society of Architects, so I have some connections there in terms of mural artists and understand the grant writing process.
Thank you very much. Is there any councilors? Councilor Zambudo?
thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I want to thank you for your interest in the city, and you certainly sound enthusiastic. And I said at the last Appointments Committee that I'm so pleased with the people we've got coming up here that really brings something to the table. And so I'm grateful that you wanted to participate, and I'll certainly be voting for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any other councilors? Sarah, I'll see you on Zoom.
Awesome.
And I'm the chairwoman, so I'll see you on Zoom, and do a good job for the city. Thank you very
Chairwoman.
much.
Thank you.
This concludes, sorry. All in favor? All opposed? So ordered. Recommended the confirmation of Sarah Hawes to the PAC. This concludes the Appointments Committee meeting. Thank you and have a good night.